Amu iloma. My bad. My bad. I love you. 带你们骚两句。
I am ready.
Your turn to ban. Seconds. You really gotta pick a hero. You got 10 seconds left. 5 seconds, Morty. It'll be fine.
Sven stands ready. Aye.
Why aren't they doing anything? They're just standing
I
around.
can do no
Relax,
less.
Morty.
My code compels me. So you say. A good choice. Yes. I'll do it. Aye. Better yet. Mm-hmm.
Morty, don't look now, but battle's about to
Very well.
start. Oh my god, no! I ain't ready for this. I didn't do this.
It's only proper. Agreed. Good.
Here we go, Rick. The battle's about to go. Oh.
I have waited long enough.
There is nothing that can stop this man!
Of course. Yes. Good idea. Right. Run if you can. That's right. Never cross me.
Denied!
Why not? Okay. I just have to turn. Good enough. The battle. On the way. Onward.
Not this time.
Oh, I'm under attack.
You know what's better than First Blood? Nothing.
Yes.
That's First Blood.
I'd like to start with dessert.
Very well. Yes. Aye. Why not? Agreed. Onward. That's right. What do you say? Okay. It's only proper. Good idea. My code compels me. Never yet. I'll do it. Of course. The battle. Yes. Aye. Hand it over. Attack. Yeah. That means the right time. A good choice. I can do no less. Right. Good. Forward. Good idea. Never yet. Hey. Onward. I can do no less. Keep it here. My code compels me. A good choice. The battle. Yes.
Wubble up a dub dub!
At last. Oh no. It's only proper. Aye. By the outcast blade. Right. Very well. That's right. I'll do it. Yes, more. I'll take my feet. Feel my blade.
Regeneration.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez, your middle tower's under attack!
of course. So you say,
Oh, your bottom tower's under attack!
forward. Agreed. Good enough.
Bounty.
I fight. Die now. Run if you can. Why not? I'll take my food. On the way. Yes. Good. Okay.
Denied.
Never cross me. Ah. To battle.
Welcome to the secret shop.
I can do no less. So you say? Aye.
Oh, come on, your middle tower's under attack!
Fall.
Killing spree, whoa!
Getting the street.
Mission top! Oh, middle tower's under attack!
Ready!
Proper skaggs.
Yes. Good enough. Good idea. A good choice. I'll do it.
Every coin helps.
Very well. By the outcast blade. Yeah. Feel my blade.
Oh, Rick! He's dominating now! He's dominating!
I fight. Good. By the shattered helm. Better yet. Okay. My code compels me. Right.
You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good. 40, bottom tower under
Right.
attack. Oh!
It's only proper.
Your middle tower's under attack. Oh, man!
I claim the right.
Oh, jeez, Radiant's courier just got killed.
Yes. Why not? My strength increases. On the way. Yes. That's right. Yes, more. Attack. It's only proper. I can do no less. Of course.
Oh, jeez, Rick, the top tower's
Nobody
getting hit.
breathes.
Oh, Morty, uh-oh. You better hold on to your hat, Morty. Now it's a mega kill. That's 5, baby. Double 5 kills. There's no accident anymore. This isn't an accident now.
Die
Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about?
now. Hand it over. Yes, Who smells me?
Ushi.
Good your scraps of armor, did you?
Oh my gosh, Morty. He's from Boston because he's wicked sick.
Good. I'll make you die. Right.
Oh, your bottom tower's under attack.
I'll do it.
Denied.
That's right. Yes. Aye. By the shattered helm. Good idea.
Morty, middle tower. Might want to look at it.
Middle tower's under attack!
Good enough.
Oh jeez, middle tower's under attack!
Never yet.
Hooray! The
choice.
enemy's bottom tower is destroyed. Hooray!
Why not? My code compels me. Yes!
Morty, you're not gonna like
Bow
this. The top
down.
tower's under attack.
Oh, sheesh!
One guy.
Oh, not good.
That takes that. Yes. The battle.
New treasures.
So you say. I shall cast blade. Very well.
Ooh, your middle tower's under attack. Ooh, Diane, you gotta fortify them their structures.
Oh jeez, your middle tower's under attack! Man, you might want to save that energy, because Radiant just fortified their structures!
Your middle tower's under attack.
Good enough.
Oh, middle tower's under attack.
Of course. Mhm. Very well. Never cross me.
I'm marking this in my journal. This is a day to remember. There was a monster kill.
Feel my pain. Yes. Agreed. It's only proper. I love our attack. I'll do it.
This is some godlike stuff.
Aye.
Oh, the enemy's middle tower's gone! Serve some variety, Rick, we're only gonna get to do this once!
well, beloved, just,
1,
uh,
2,
yeah,
3!
so-
Holy
so-
shit!
Good idea. Oh. To battle. Never yet. Aye. Yes. Right. Why not? Invisibility. Okay. One guy.
40, middle tower.
Middle tower's under attack!
Relax.
Welcome to the secret shop.
No choice. Now. Fight. On the way. say?
Can anyone hear me? It's a killing spree over here!
That's right.
I love it, Morty. Your middle tower's under attack. I love it.
Oh man, your middle tower just got destroyed!
Yes. My code compels me. Yes, more! Of course. Bow down.
Haste!
To battle. Good. I'll take that. Okay. Run if you can.
Oh boy, your top tower's under attack! Holy shit!
Why not? Right. Lord of discipline. A good choice. Never yet. On the way. Nice fight.
Oh man, this guy's dominating!
Soldiers dead.
I have enough to
Never cross none. I can do no less. Good idea. By the outcast blade.
Whoa! The enemy's top tower got destroyed!
Aye.
Your bottom tower's under attack!
It's only proper. I'm under attack. Attack. I'll do it. Good enough.
proper skacks.
I'll take my food. On guard.
Damn.
So you say.
Okay.
Very well. shattered helm. Yes. I can do no less. On the way.
Proper skaks.
My code compels me.
Everybody watch out! It's a killing spree!
Aye.
Oh boy, killing spree!
Run. Run if you can.
Wubba lubba dub dub!
We hardly knew you. Just as well.
Oh my god! Four in a row!
Yes.
He's now dominating! He's dominating, Rick!
Feel my blade. Good idea. A good choice. Bow down. Of course.
Ooh, they took out the enemy's middle tower! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha!
To
That
battle.
was good playership.
It's only proper.
Oh man, what? Get up on out of here, cause Radiant just fortified their
Double
structures!
damage. Aye. Yes, more.
Or you know that Roshi guy that just got killed by Dyer. He owed me money.
Enough. Time is over. Smart. I'm still here.
You can't vanquish what you can't see.
Oh jeez, your top tower's under attack! Come on, get oh jeez, your top tower's as good as done!
Looks like dire structures are fortified.
Right.
You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
Morty, bottom tower under attack. Hey, Morty, guess what's not there?
The bottom tower.
On the way. My strength increases. Yeah. I can do no less. At last. To battle. I shall pass the raid. Aye. Our flames arise. Never yet. Smart.
So windy now.
Never cross me. Enough.
The enemy's bottom tower. It's gone. We did it.
So you say. Agreed. Never cross. Good.
The enemy's bottom tower. It's gone. We did it. Aggressive watching this, Morty. Morty, killing spree.
Was not the same without it. As the outcast yes.
Enemy's bottom barracks. They're gone. Let's all say a prayer.
This just in. The enemy bottom barracks are destroyed.
Oh, your top tower's under attack.
Wait, no, hold on. He's unstoppable.
My code can tell me. Very well. As a shattered hand. Right. Okay. Oh. Right here.
Morty, can you smell it? The smell of freshly slaughtered
Only
bodies.
Die now. On guard. Yes. A good choice.
Rick, there's a monster coming down.
This your first time seeing a monster kill?
I'm under attack. Attack. Yes. You say? By the outcast blade!
Illusion.
Good idea. Good enough. Okay. Bow down. On guard. I'll take that. Very well. My code compels me. Never yet. A good choice. Agreed. By the shattered hell. To battle. I can do no less. On the way. It's only proper. Ah! Right.
Monday Night Raw has always suffered from running the same time slot as the NFL, as Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that the company has considered moving Raw to another day. There had been talk in the past of moving to Tuesday to get away from the NFL, because the NFL just would hurt them every year, but Monday became the traditional night. Now, I cannot imagine USA making that call now, and nor should they. If they move nights, they will be hurt. It's not like Raw will drop 50%, but Raw will drop because of the tradition. Maybe it'll help. Maybe in the NFL months, it will help a little bit. Obviously, they haven't made the move. They know they go against the NFL every year. You could also do a thing where we'll just move it to Tuesday during football season, then go back after football is over. And they've never ever done that, so that tells you that they don't want to mess with Monday.
Your turn to pick, bro.
Before making his appearance in the 2018 Royal Rumble, Adam Cole told the Universal Wrestling Podcast that he was only informed that he'd be in that bout 24 hours prior. At 11 p.m. that night, I was told by Triple H, hey, you're in the Rumble tomorrow. I was expecting to go home that night. No one had told me anything. I had that match with Alistair, and I was told I'm in the Rumble tomorrow. I was super excited, super elated that night. I had this similar feeling like, okay, I debuted in the NXT TakeOver in front of the diehard fans, but how will the audience be at the Rumble? Maybe they just watch Raw and SmackDown. Maybe they're not going to care. But I was surprised by the reaction, like people were actually excited I was there. That was really, really cool. And I got to stand in the ring with Rey Mysterio, who was also a surprise entrant in the ring. Getting to stand in the ring with him was so cool. Of course, I'm thinking a million things. I was not in there for really long. That was still a well-placed debut in the Royal Rumble in Philly. I could not have asked for a better spot. On the Wives of Wrestling podcast, Ronda Rousey gave details regarding her first WWE contract and initial meeting with Triple H. So then my agent Brad set up a meeting with me and Triple H, being like, oh, would you like to do this kind of thing? I was like, yeah, but I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't think I would be able to have any actual matches on my own. I didn't know what live shows were. I didn't know that was a thing. So I ended up becoming like, give a mouse a cookie situation, where I was like, okay, I'll do this for fun wrestling thing before me and Trav have a baby. It was kind of like a bucket list. Okay, let me do some WWE stuff for a year or whatever before we have a baby. Because at first I was like, oh yeah, by November we want to go off and have a baby. And they were like, oh well, we kind of do things from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. So you could extend it to the next WrestleMania.
Who dares approach my throne? Prostrate yourself.
With her being released from WWE yesterday along with other NXT stars, Dakota Kai was apparently supposed to make her way to the main roster. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer noted that Vince McMahon scrapped those plans. In the case of Dakota Kai, I've been expecting that. When I heard about April 15th cuts, she was definitely on, in my mind, the list, because it's like there's nothing really more that they were going to do with her for NXT. She's been there too long. She's mid-30s, and they gave her the tryouts in the main roster. Vince said no. It's like, okay, once Vince says no, what are you there for? Know what I mean? I expected her, and I'm not shocked. I would think that she would not be surprised either, because she was there to be called on to the main roster months ago. She was doing the tryouts and everybody else got up, and for whatever reason, you can all speculate on what Vince sees and doesn't see in people, but whatever it was, you know, he didn't see it in her. It's not her working, obviously, but he has ideas of what a star is and whatever. It's his judgment. You know what his judgment is. People know that going in. Also on Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer spoke about the recent cuts in WWE, saying more could be on the way. There's people in the company who think that the 10 names, that's not it. I've heard rumblings about more, but who knows? Some of these obviously were blindsided because you could just watch the TBNC Dexter Loomis and Persia Perota. Who was the other one? Malcolm Bivens. It was also pointed out that the company did not tell those in creative for NXT about these releases. They all had storylines that were ongoing and then they were cut. Even the people involved in NXT
Your bottom tower's under
Be
attack.
creative. This tells you either it's a communication issue, because if these people were going to get cut, you would probably not want to start storylines with them as they did with Malcolm Bivens in particular. When it comes to future plans for the undisputed champion Roman Reigns, the Observer said that WWE could be saving his title bouts for a bigger stadium show. That's really interesting. That really weakens the card, because I thought the unification was the strongest thing they had on the card. Really, now, that would put Charlotte and Ronda. Roman and Drew, I guess, would then be to set up for the stadium pay-per-views then, which made sense to me. Maybe the Cardiff or maybe Vegas or whatever. So they basically are on this pay-per-view, basically throwing away this pay-per-view. That's what it is to me. If you do a single champion, then you're doing the pay-per-view without a title match. You're basically just saying, we don't see this pay-per-view as a big deal at all. With them holding the AAA and ROH tag titles, FTR are dripping in gold. Despite being double champs, the duo is hoping to add another set of tag belts to their collection. On the sessions, Cash Wheeler spoke about the recent rumor of WWE having interest in bringing them back. I was driving to the airport when Dax sent me the screenshot and I was like, is this legit? Is this a real thing? That's how I found out. Sitting here getting ready to board a flight, I'm thinking about how crazy this all is, how crazy this whole year has been. I don't know how much has changed there as far as how we've wanted tag team wrestling to be. We're getting ready to show everybody what tag team wrestling can be and what our vision of it is. It's buzzing right now. Tag teams are killing it everywhere right now, and not just us. We are at the top of that obviously, but tag team wrestling in general is killing it right now, and it's creating a buzz, and it's got some of the best tag teams at the same time in the past couple of decades, I would say. Just from everybody in NJPW, Impact, AEW, WWE, MLW, there's so many ridiculously talented teams, and we're getting to put a focus on that. That's what we always wanted to do, and I was kind of blown away when I read that WWE has interest in us. It makes you think about a bunch of different things, but right now, we get to paint what we see wrestling's tag team picture as. I'm happier than I've been. I make more money than I have, and I don't want to think about anything other than that and making tag team wrestling and ourselves the best ever. With AEW and New Japan's heavy joint pay-per-view on June 26th, Dax Harwood revealed they're looking to become the IWGP Tag Champs. We want to be the first ever two-time AEW Tag Team Champions. Until then or after then, we want the IWGP Tag Team titles, and that's very important. That's something we've wanted to do for a while, and we haven't tried to do anything to waste it, because when we do it, we want tag team wrestling to be talked about and buzzed about. That's something we think that can be cool, but it's very high on my list right now. Two-time AEW Tag Team Champions, and then add another star on the list. If we do get the opportunity to win the IWGP Tag Team Championships, we'll be the only tag team in history to hold the WWE Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, AAA, ROH, and IWGP Tag Team Gold. But if we do all that and we hold all of those titles, is there a debate anymore as to who is the greatest of all time? I say that humbly as a real question. I don't say that as there's no debate. We are the greatest ever. But really, what's the debate now? Where are we in that debate? Speaking recently to TMZ, Alexa Bliss was asked about the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to her in the ring, to which Alexa replied that it was when her shorts were on backwards. This led to Mickie James having to inform her of such, as Bliss went backstage during the commercial break to fix her shorts. Alexa would then post pictures writing "my shorts on backwards," and the moment Mickie James realizes my shorts are on backwards, thanks for always having my back. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.
Another triumph.
The King of Bones reigns again.
Discounts, free shipping, at cashback. Shopee Payday Sale na. Maraming discounts pa. Add to cart mo na. Shopee Payday Sale na. Shopee!
It's good
Good to finally have some competition in the wrestling world again. Well, good for the wrestlers and the referees and the production people who earn their living in the business, but maybe not so good for WWE, who were probably happy being the only real game in town and now have a major player to contend with. While the Wednesday Night Wars are certainly a headache for those in Stamford, Connecticut, the biggest drawback of AEW's existence is that wrestlers now have somewhere else to go. This has led to WWE trying to tie performers down, often with much improved contracts that offer long-term security and much better downside guarantees. Unless a global pandemic happens, of course, in which case all bets are off, but I digress. As much as WWE are keen to hold on to particular talents, it has to be said that they've let many people go in the past who have since gone on to make a major difference in AEW. Whether it was a promising rookie in developmental or the son of a Hall of Famer and would-be WWE lifer, there have been many men and women who have exited the world's biggest sports entertainment vessel after having their potential squandered, only to then realize it for Tony Khan's emerging organization. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 AEW stars wasted by WWE. Join us. Number 10, Lance Archer. Before making it to WWE in 2009, Lance Archer was pretty much a mid-card tag guy in TNA. At various points he formed teams with Kid Cash, Matt Bentley and Jimmy Rave, but outside of a couple of tag team title reigns, his time in the Impact Zone had been rather ordinary. So while WWE were not exactly getting an unknown commodity, they were getting someone who hadn't come close to fulfilling their potential. And Archer had everything WWE looks for in their superstars. At almost 7 feet tall and around 270 pounds, Archer had the size and look required to become a player. He milled about in Developmental League FCW before being called up to the ECW brand. Before his debut match, however, Vince McMahon instructed talent relation head John Laurinaitis that Archer, now going by the much more awkward Vance, not Lance for some reason, needed to shave off his braided goatee and cut his hair. The new Archer looked a lot less metal and a lot more Bradley Cooper, and didn't find much success on the main roster, essentially floundering for a year, the most memorable thing he did forming a tag team with Kurt Hawkins. By the time his hair had grown back, he was released to little fanfare. He has proven in the years since with his work in New Japan just what he's capable of. AEW clearly see big things in his future and have already put him in several high-profile scenarios and matches. Number 9, Jake Hager. Jake Hager, like Archer, is another performer who ticked a lot of boxes when it came to what WWE look for in a top talent. The former Jack Swagger had the height, size, and look required, throwing in some impressive amateur credentials that added a further layer of legitimacy to the All-American American. And WWE didn't waste too much time in pushing Hager, who made his television debut a year before the American Psycho. He quickly ascended up the ranks of ECW, which was basically the place to introduce new prospects in this era, amassing an undefeated streak and beating Matt Hardy for the ECW title. It wasn't too long before he turned his attention towards other titles, cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at pretty much the first opportunity and becoming World Heavyweight Champion. It was quite the rapid rise to the top. After that run came to an end, however, it felt like WWE just lost confidence in him. Yes, he was US Champion at one point, and he was in a decent tag team with Cesaro, but the slide down the pecking order was noticeable, and Vince hardly bat an eyelid when he requested his release. Rebuilding his reputation in the MMA world for Bellator, AEW seemed to understand his strengths and have positioned him appropriately as the Inner Circle's dominant enforcer. Number 8, Ty Conti. A one-time Olympic hopeful in judo, Ty Conti came to WWE's attention thanks to her exploits in the martial arts and gymnastics worlds. Not to mention she was young and beautiful and came from Brazil, adding a bit of exotic flair and I'm sure piquing the interests of those in the company who were always on the lookout for that next big Latin American star. With no previous experience in pro wrestling, she reported to the WWE Performance Center in October of 2016. And as she learned more and more, she found herself getting new opportunities, whether it was competing in the Mae Young Classic tournament or getting a spot in the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania. However, that wasn't enough for the ambitious Conti, who found herself frustrated with the lack of growth and felt like it was time to move on. Requests for a release were denied until WWE decided to drop her and many other contracted performers at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. WWE's loss appears to be AEW's gain, as the fledgling group acquired the services of the Brazilian in September of 2020. She's already turned heads with her tag team with Anna Jay, and still in her mid-20s, will likely be a big part of the growing AEW women's scene for
some time to come. Number 7, Colt Cabana. Like many of his time, Colt Cabana built his reputation on the international and American independent scenes before he got a call from WWE. Whether it was in Japan, Europe, or for cutting-edge promotions like early days Ring of Honor, Cabana typically entertained with his mix of styles and penchant for incorporating comedy into his acts. An occasional enhancement worker for WWE, Cabana signed for the sports entertainment juggernaut in 2007 and was assigned to Ohio Valley and then Florida Championship Wrestling, where he waited and waited and waited to finally be called up to the main roster after over a year fine-tuning his skills in developmental. And what a debut it was! Interfering in the first ever Hell in a Cell match and costing The Undertaker the... Wait, no, hold on a second. That was Kane, wasn't it? I always get those two mixed up. No, Cabana, as Scotty Goldman, no doubt picked from the random Jewish name generator, easily lost his debut match in a few short minutes to the Brian Kendrick. Surprisingly, it was all downhill from there, and he was released after just a handful of minor appearances. AEW seemed to recognize Cabana's worth as a well-traveled veteran, and it's certainly nice to see the world of sports enthusiasts get an opportunity to properly shine on a global stage. Number 6, Luchasaurus. Alright, so we're back to big young guys with marketable WWE in 2009. Not to mention WWE, Cabana signed for the sports entertainment juggernaut as Judas Devlin and essentially blended into the crowd of other hopefuls in developmental. Not that his stay was without controversy, mind you. Devlin was released while recovering from a major hip injury and was one of those who spoke out against disgraced former coach Bill DeMott, earning him the ire of some in the business. He didn't stand around lamenting it though, getting back on the horse, or in this case joining the Big Brother house, before showing up in Lucha Underground as Vibora. The creation of the Luchasaurus character has given his career a new lease on life, with guest spots in Ring of Honor and Impact leading him to AEW, where he forms a lovable and very popular trio with Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy. Number 5.
Today, I've got an extra awesome game to share with you.
That's great, but have you heard of something called Hero Wars?
You mean the best online action RPG of 2021? Of course I have. I'm playing it right now, in fact.
So what can you tell us about it?
This is an online role-playing action game with a variety of PvP and PvE modes.
Pac. Speaking of lovable, welcome to the exact opposite. Pac, as Neville, had a commendable WWE career, winning the NXT and Cruiserweight titles during his time there, but on the whole, you have to say that the company really dropped the ball with him. And the bastard knew it, famously walking out of the company before a Raw taping in late 2017. A major sin in the wrestling business, the Geordie's decision to walk out reportedly got Vince more than a little hot under the collar, but the high flyer's mind was made up. He was then forced to sit and wait for the best part of a year while his contract situation was sorted out. He returned to action for Dragon Gate in Japan, but made headlines when he emerged as a major signee during AEW's inaugural rally, notably coming out in full gear. Well, I suppose it's better than the tracksuit, Lonsdale trainers and baseball cap that everyone else in Newcastle seems to wear. Since then, the Master of the Black Arrow has been presented as one of All Elite's biggest stars, getting victories over the likes of Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Considering his astonishing athleticism and massive improvements to his character and promo game in recent years, it really is criminal that WWE had Pac slumming it on 205 Live with dickheads like Enzo. Number 4, Serena Deeb. One of the great surprises in AEW of late is the re-emergence of Serena Deeb, who has finally been given the opportunity to show just what she can do on the big stage. Deeb had around 7 years of worldwide experience when she showed up on WWE television in 2010, portraying a fan who was plucked from the audience and initiated into CM Punk's straight edge society, including having her head shaved in the ring for the angle. She became a full-time member of the stable, but, and this could only really happen in wrestling, was released several months later for supposedly not living the gimmick and adhering to a substance-free lifestyle. Serena spent the following half-decade working the indies and wrestling internationally, but by 2015 had decided to semi-retire. WWE came calling for the Mae Young Classic in 2017, and clearly impressed by what they saw, signed her to become a full-time coach at the Performance Center. Based on her prior firing, I'm almost certain she wasn't teaching Kayfabe 101. Sadly, Serena was another who was let go due to the COVID cutbacks, but has since been hired by AEW and even got a win over Thunder Rosa on Dynamite, retaining her NWA Women's title in the process. Number 3, FTR. There's something to be said for those that take creative and professional satisfaction over large sums of money. And that something is, of course, gee, what kind of candy-ass mark would do that? I'd definitely take the money, losers. In all seriousness, there's something commendable about FTR being more concerned with mastering their craft and leaving a legacy in tag team wrestling ahead of how many zeros they can get on a paycheck. Because Dax and Cash, as they're now known, were offered a substantial sum to re-sign with WWE before opting to try their luck elsewhere. Their main reason for leaving was dissatisfaction with not just their position in WWE, but the overall state of tag team wrestling. Because it doesn't matter how many awesome duos WWE has on their roster, Vince McMahon and other higher-ups simply aren't fans and would rather invest their attention and money in creating singles stars and promoting singles feuds. The Revival, as they were once known, understood this, and it became rather evident when the creative staff proposed some ludicrous new gimmicks, so they said goodbye to Titan Towers. Angling for a match with the Young Bucks for what seemed like an age, FTR ended up in AEW where they finally got their match. Already one-time AEW Tag Team Champions, you have to figure that Dax and Cash will be a staple in the company for some time to come. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Had Kenny Omega entered the WWE developmental system at a different time, the history of pro wrestling could have been very different indeed. Unfortunately for Omega, and WWE as it turns out, he reported for training to Deep South Wrestling in the dark days of 2005. Deep South was a notoriously antiquated facility run by Bill DeMott, who was more interested in running wrestlers into the ground than he was trying to build them into superstars. Tired of getting his head kicked in and clashing with his tyrannical trainers, Omega opted to leave Deep South after less than a year and has since publicly criticized his time there. The Best Bout machine wasn't hurting for bookings and soon got to work wrestling throughout the world, building his reputation on the independent scene and particularly in Japan. Dave Meltzer's favorite wrestler became a legend in New Japan thanks to his string of 5, 6, 7, and 23-star matches. WWE were watching and repeatedly approached the cleaner with offers only to be rebuffed each time. Perhaps Kenny knew that he, along with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, would one day soon be helping oversee what eventually became AEW. As an EVP and now the company's top star, there's pretty much no chance we'll ever get to see Omega wrestle in a WWE ring. So you can forget about that Baron Corbin dream match. Sorry. Number 1, Cody Rhodes. By rights, Cody Rhodes could have and perhaps should have been a solidified member of the main event club, a WWE champion, and someone the company could build around for years and years to come. He certainly had the ability, charisma, experience, and legacy to do so, but he wasn't helped by apathetic booking and a gimmick change that could have been a career killer. At one point, WWE were clearly prepping him for big things, partnering him and another hot prospect up with Randy Orton before making him the Intercontinental Champion. Over the ensuing years, the grandson of a plumber often threatened to grab the brass ring before it was inevitably yanked from out of his reach. His descent down the card culminated with a Turner's Stardust, a character that would never be pushed as anything other than a mid-card act, at best. So disappointed with his career regression was Cody that he publicly asked for and was granted a release from his contract, taking to the indie scene with gusto and impressing everyone with his conduct and performances. Like Omega, Cody is now an EVP and top star with AEW, where he has much more creative input and is finally showing WWE just what the man in the face paint and bodysuit could do when given the opportunity. With an apparent desire to get into politics after he hangs up his boots, odds are that the American Nightmare has already wrestled his last WWE match.
As I command! Bow before me! That's nice. A wise king always has an army in the wings. Flee while you can. 'Tis your honor. Never cross me. You are in my presence. Travel my home.
Oh my god! Warner, roll the feed! He's now dominating! He's dominating, Rick! Jesus, this is some wicked sick stuff, Rick, because he just wicked sicked it!
That's right.
Attention. Questionable.
Much obliged.
A path opens. By my decree. I walk among you.
Kid just got taken out by the radiant!
Over already?
Players disconnected. This is why I say local LAN is the way to go, Rick.
Make way for your better. Let's get boy, push me. Death is my shadow. As I command. War is told. At my word.
Oh man, this guy's dominating!
Own it.
Whoa, Rick, there's a monster killing Oh man, what? Get up on out of here! The Radiant just fortified their structures!
Make it drown.
Who was that? Own it. Killing spree. Whoa! Double
The
kill.
enemy's middle tower's gone! Serves them right!
Morty, you're not gonna like this. The top tower is under attack.
Oh, sheesh!
Enemy's middle barracks just got wrecked, baby! Your top tower is
Oh,
under attack.
jeez, he's dominating! Oh, jeez, Rick, the top tower's getting hit! Oh, your bottom tower's
Enemy's
under
middle
attack!
barracks just got wrecked, baby! Well, look at the cat drugged in.
Your bottom tower's under attack! You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
Morty, bottom tower under attack.
What the bone jolt? I'm your once and future thing. Did I give you permission to fall? For the treasury! Behold the bone key! I'm always at my best. Who's in charge here? By my... Got my ear to the ground.
A lonely death.
Oh, the enemy's top tower has fallen!
Nice! It's like that song, Glomp Glomp a Nop Noops a Noop Noop Noop.
You can't kill a king who's dead. Basher. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Obey me. Behold your king. Let's reunite. Now we're rowing deep. Your king is
Whoa, initiating killing spree mode.
time to fight.
Hooray! The enemy's bottom tower is destroyed. Hooray! The enemy's top barracks just got riggedy wrecked, son! Looks like that structure's too fortified.
merciless. I'll consider it. By any measure. Prostrate yourself. Target unknown. The sword arm likes to swing.
Lovely.
Tis I.
Regeneration. I'll take that.
Bow before me. Who dares look upon my face? Rise and shine. Questionable.
The enemy's top barracks just got riggedy wrecked, son! Double kill. Oh, man.
Foul play.
Hear myself think.
I thought they warned you not to speak with rangers. Silence.
Trust me!
Level up a dub-dub!
Oh, the enemy's middle tower's gone. Serves them right.
Whoa!